of the things that I get to ponder in the world today, one of the most daunting thing for me anyway, and it may not be daunting for you, but it is daunting for me, is how do I maintain an attitude of gratitude when I see a lot of things that I disagree with, don't make sense to me, just frustrate me. And I think the life lesson learned that I want to share with you in this particular clip is I count my blessings. I genuinely do. For instance, the fact that I can record videos and I have the tools to be able to edit them and post them to social media to share my reflections, my insights, what I've learned in life. That is so much more than so many people have in the world. And I've been to those places. I've seen those people. I've witnessed the suffering firsthand. And that has left an indelible mark on my conscience, on my psyche. And because it's there, because it's etched into who I am today, it really does enable me to have an attitude of gratitude, to choose to be a champion, a creator, a challenger, a coach, rather than a victim. I am not a victim of circumstance, and I dare say, if you're watching this video on social media, and I'm not saying this for everyone, you aren't either. You are benefiting from the efforts, both individually and collectively, of millions, if not billions, of people who are present now and who have gone before all of us to live a life that we now enjoy. And when you start reframing it this way, like I do, when you start really looking at the things that get under your skin, I think it becomes easier to go and say, you know what? While I would prefer a different life, a better life, a life with more of this and less of that, history is replete with examples of people just like us who maintained an attitude of gratitude. In fact, one of the most inspiring pieces of literature that I've ever had the privilege of being introduced to was Viktor Frankl and Man's Search for Meaning. Being in a concentration camp, coming through that during World War II in Nazi Germany, and then being able to reflect and move on past that and become a leader in a whole movement of psychology. That's phenomenal. That is truly inspiring by hopefully any measure. Taking inventory on a daily basis of everything that we've been blessed to have. Access to clean water, access to reliable electricity, food, clothing, shelter, mobility, any number of things that we're fortunate to enjoy at this time in human existence. That takes real courage. Folks, that takes a lot of self-awareness. That takes emotional intelligence to set aside whatever it is that is my gripe for the day and instead go, I'm looking around me. I am so blessed. I am so fortunate. And then also making the commitment on a daily basis to be the person that makes the world a better place for people around you. taking this attitude of gratitude one step further, understanding that there are many people around you that don't necessarily agree with you or share your worldview or your political view or your experience or anything else. And being willing to hold two opposing truths openly in your thought process and recognize that, yes, this truth can exist, while at the same time this truth can exist, and being willing to balance that in order to maintain the right attitude and perspective when you're dealing with people who are not like yourself, or I should say, who are not similar to you. That is truly a life lesson learned. And it feeds into being able to have an attitude of gratitude even when it would be easier just to complain. That's the life lesson learned, brought to you today by Tim Unscripted.